Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and today we are going to take a look at Resonance Darkrai. This video will be mostly a showcase of Darkrai, the skills, how it performs, how it's supposed to actually work. I was even hesitant to start this video today because Darkrai is not the Pokemon that actually fits the meta right now, but I feel like as a content creator I need to put this information out there somewhere so that people who are interested in the future, like is Resonance Darkrai good or not, people will find the content about the specific Pokemon and they can decide for themselves if the Pokemon is good for them or not. Also, if you enjoy this kind of content, please let me know by leaving a like, and this video really helps the channel. And I also have 300 Resonance Darkrai stickers on my account, so if you would like to see how this Pokemon would actually perform on my account, because right now we are on the testing account, if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments. And the very last quick thing before we start, if you are doing any kind of recharges on Pokeland Legends, you can save yourself some money and also support the channel at the same time if you use my code on your Aptoide wallet. More informations about that are in the description below, but let's get started. Darkrai. In order to actually have the best Resonance Darkrai possible, you actually need to skill breakthrough the Overlord Darkrai before transforming it into Resonance. This is because if you go to the breakthrough archive, you can see that only Overlord Darkrai is available over here and not the Resonance one. If we go and take a look at, for example, Vietnamese and Portuguese versions, Resonance Darkrai and Resonance Shadow Mewtwo are Pokemon that should be available on the breakthrough archive. One of the things that I want to mention is that even though we do not have the indicator on the skill that is broke, for example, we have a Raikou over here with a skill breakthrough on his ultimate, on his passive, and it's very easy to see with the golden letters over there. On Darkrai, we cannot see that, even though we did actually broke it, we did the skill breakthrough before evolving from Overlord to Resonance. But for example, if we look at the R Dream Eater, it has a skill power of 75, and if we go to actually the Pokedex really quick on the Pokedex, and we go and take a look at the R Dream Eater, it has a skill power of 70. So indeed the skill breakthrough should be working, but I'm not 100% sure. The skill breakthrough is something that exists for sure on Vietnamese version and Portuguese version, but we are not sure if it's actually working here on the English version. Starting with a passive, it's a passive that only gives you a lot of stats and a lot of benefit if the enemy is controlled. And by control it means like frozen, paralyzed, sleep, etc. Skill number 1, Dream Eater, it deals more damage if the enemy is asleep or under control. The R Dream Eater actually hypnotizes the target for 2 rounds if they can be hypnotized, of course, deals more damage if they are under control, etc. And also applies Nightmare, which is the Darkrai debuff. If they cannot be controlled, which is the case of this Cresselia, it deals an additional 20% Reaper damage. Skill number 2, it's a Dark Hole, 80% chance of hypnotizing the targets, reducing their defenses, but if they cannot get hypnotized, they get also 20% Reaper damage. The R Dark Hole, or Z Dark Hole, increases the chance of hypnotizing the enemies to 100% and also applies a relatively static effect that I'm not 100% sure of what it does. It should allow your Darkrai to move again, but I'm not 100% sure if this is working as intended. Skill number 3, Nasty Plot, is also a skill that deals more damage if the enemy is under control and deals extra 30% Reaper damage if the enemy is already asleep. The R Nasty Plot actually puts the enemy asleep for 2 rounds, and even if they are not asleep or if they cannot be put to sleep, deals extra 30% Reaper damage as well. And now skill number 4, it's the ultimate. It also deals extra damage if the enemy is under control. It also deals extra damage if enemy are not asleep. And also on the R ultimate, it hypnotizes the enemies for 2 rounds if they, of course, can be hypnotized, and increases the Reaper damage to 30% if they are asleep, 20% if they are not asleep, which can be helpful in some situations, but in others the damage is not enough. But in this situation it was. But as you could see, in those multiple situations, a lot of Pokemons were not immune to control. For example, I just played against a player that had a Cresselia with Safeguard, so Cresselia was indeed immune to control. but then the other ones were not. So against the Pokemons that are not immune to control, Darkrai actually feels useful, you know? But against other Pokemon that are actually immune to control, Darkrai doesn't deal enough damage, in my opinion. Now, it was a showcase, mostly a video of showcase. I don't want to make a video of trying to make this Pokemon work. I would prefer doing that on my own account, my main account. But the thing is, whether a Pokemon sucks or not, I think it always deserves to have a showcase, right? A showcase is a showcase. It's for players to actually see the Pokemon on action and also evaluate themselves and see for themselves if a Pokemon is worth it or not. This is the best possible setup that I can have with Darkrai right now. As you can see, it kinda deals decent damage with the ultimate, kinda, but sometimes it also does not. It's barely enough. It's almost barely enough to actually kill the Hoopa. This Hoopa on this account, by the way, which is Zexy, is the Hoopa that is always my test subject. If a Pokemon is good enough for the meta, it should have a team that just wins against Hoopa on auto, and Darkrai, sadly, was not one of those. But nevertheless, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next video.